Vassos Alexander, hello.
Hello, Steve Denyer.
This is a treat. We have known each other for years and we see each other every day. We've had a few tequilas together.
We have.
But I've never actually sat down with you and spoken about, you know, your love, your love music, your career, how you met Chris. So hopefully, and your running, your books, I could go on and on and on. So hopefully we're going to cover all of this.
This has been
week.
such a treat for me, Steve, because since you asked me to do it, which was, 2.5, 3 weeks ago now,
yeah,
I have thought of nothing else apart from 80s songs, and which 80s songs have to be in the list. But my list of 10 started as a list of 104 songs that absolutely had to get in, and then I can't get rid of that. I finally this morning sent you a list of 19.
I was going to say I've got 19 here now.
Not including the song 19, which I think is an 80s song. Do you remember?
Yes.
No, 19.
Yeah.
But it's also a very good conversation starter in a pub.
Yeah.
Tuesday night, Barnes Runners, we've had our 10k run. I said, you know what I've got to do on Thursday? Want to do on Thursday is I've been picking my 10 best songs from the 80s, but I'm allowed to borrow from the late 70s and the early 90s because it's Virgin Radio 80s plus, and the plus is the 70s and the 90s bit. And that was it. I mean, that's all anyone talked about. And it's like, oh, what about this? What about that? What about this? And then you think, oh no, I actually wish I hadn't started now because that's more songs that I'm going to have to not choose.
What have I started?
Yeah.
But the thing is, these songs are incredible.
If you say to me, the 80s, I will say to you a few things. One of them will be like songs that you think they start as a ballad. Oh, you're going to be a ballad, but they actually don't end up as a ballad, right? So I've got that in my back pocket.
Yeah.
But mostly, and I love this song, and I remember it was like, do you remember the video of this song? I mean, two absolute icons, Mick Jagger and David Bowie, coming together, right? And the dancing they did in this video with Mick with his ridiculous shirt and David Bowie. You know?
Yeah.
I've got a 19-year-old daughter who idolises David Bowie.
Really?
Fantastic.
Oh, that's great to know, isn't it?
And I can't think, we were talking about continents this morning on the show because the World Cup, the Men's Football World Cup in 2030 will be in Europe, and it will be in Africa, and it will be in, because you can't hear this song and not say South America.
It's so true. Do it again.
South America. Also, it makes no sense because some of them are continents, some of them are countries, and some of them are cities.
It's just what sounds good.
But they're dancing in the streets.
It's weird because usually I'm with you and there's a massive team because Chrissy's show is so brilliant, but it's so full on, and you guys are 100 miles an hour from 6:30. But going way back before Virgin Radio and before Radio 2, you were just the most, and I've spoken to people about you, the most incredible sports broadcaster, weren't you? You covered so much. I mean, you've done. Go on, give me a few things that you've covered.
I've done 7 Olympic Games. You know, if you asked 21-year-old Vassos, who just really wanted to go into broadcasting and sports broadcasting, you know, name all the events. Put them on a paper. It doesn't have to be serious. Just put them on a paper. All the events that you want to cover. It would be the golf majors and the Ryder Cup, the tennis majors, all 4 tennis majors. Obviously, the Olympic Games, summer and winter. Football World Cups for men and women. Cricket World Cups for men and women. Rugby World Cups for men and women. And other sort of, I don't know, I always fancied the darts, you know, for example.
Yes.
It just seemed like such a party in the new year. And I'm so lucky I have done them all. I have done every single event that I've ever wanted to cover. Obviously, the big ones are the Olympic Games. Athens 2004, you know, we spent every day of every summer holiday in Athens, and that was my first one. The first, you know, also if you're at the BBC, right, host broadcaster or rights holding broadcaster, you get this lanyard and you can basically go anywhere.
Wow. How did that make you feel? So you're at the BBC, you're covering your first Olympics
in Athens. So I'm the Greek guy, you know.
So tell me how did you feel when you arrived there?
I felt so proud. I really did. And very soon, you know, because I speak Greek, there were some bits and bobs that appeared in the papers because I could translate, and it was really, really lovely. And before because 2004 was the first Olympics after 9/11, so they suddenly had to become really security conscious, the Olympic Games, and everyone was like, Athens aren't going to be ready. And basically Athens was a great big party, as all Olympics are. But the build-up was very negative, and I was really worried that they wouldn't actually be ready, and it would sort of, I don't know, not reflect badly on me, but reflect badly on the nation that I love and that I call home.
Yeah.
And it was just a great big Greek fiesta, the home of the Olympic Games. Of course, it's where they were born, in ancient and modern times, and that was fantastic. But I think my favourite Olympic moment is with Chris. In 2012, we were broadcasting every day from this shipping container in the Olympic Park.
Yeah.
And one day we had a sort of half day. We were only doing a 2-hour show, Terry Wogan's old show, on a Sunday between 11 and 1. And just we were going, should we go out for lunch? We went out for lunch. It was a very boozy lunch, just around here actually, just near Tower Bridge. Very, very boozy lunch. Sunday afternoon, watched Andy Murray win his gold medal on the telly.
Yes.
And we thought, hang on, it's the men's 100 metres final tonight. And we've got these amazing passes. We can go anywhere, right? Let's go. So I lost him actually as we were coming back in through security because the swimming or the diving was chucking out. They were coming out and we were coming in.
Yeah.
So the next thing I know, and it had been a long lunch, Steve. The next thing I know, I couldn't find the press seats, and I'm at the wrong end. So I'll just sit down here on the staircase, and I fell asleep on a staircase by the 100-metre straight. I was near the front, and the press seats obviously at the finishing line.
Yeah.
I thought I'll go there in a sec, but I just need to sit down. The stadium's swimming a bit. Sat down, fell asleep on the stairs, and got woken up by the gun that started the 100 metres final that Usain Bolt won.
That's incredible. What a lunch that sounds like.
And the soundtrack that lunch and some of the afternoon was Primal Scream, that amazing Screamadelica album.
Yeah.
The red with that sort of funny blue and yellow smiley face. I had the T-shirt. I think I had all the T-shirts.
Yeah. So pivotal at that time as well, wasn't?
That was early 90s, and this is 2012, but
Yeah.
it still felt so fresh, and that's what we were listening to. And I think the best song on that album has got to be Loaded.
Brilliant.
Let's go with something I do most mornings before I see your smiling face and I come here, and that is night swimming.
Tell me about this. So you have a regular thing where you swim. Is it the Serpentine?
Yes, it's the Serpentine, which is a lake, an ornamental lake actually, but a big one in the centre of Hyde Park in the middle of London. And if you are lucky enough to be a member of the Serpentine Swim Club, you are allowed in the lake between 5 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. 365 days a year. By the way, guess how much membership costs?
I mean, is it like hundreds of pounds a year?
It's 20 quid.
Really?
It's 20 quid a year.
So can I ask a very ignorant question?
Mm-hmm.
Because I've heard Chris talking about you regularly do this, but are you not worried about swallowing dirty water?
Yeah.
And have you ever?
Yeah.
And is it ever?
Most, if like we're 70% water, aren't we?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, my 70% water has lots of duck poo in it.
And tadpoles.
Yeah. And a bit of blue-green algae.
Nice.
Yeah. But I love it. I love it more in winter than I do in summer. It's just such a great way to start the day, and I feel so lucky. Even in the freezingest of water. One morning last December, I had to break the ice. I was there on my own, breaking the ice before I got in. And you can't spend like more than 5-6 minutes in 0 point something degree water. But it feels like such a treat, and it's my mindfulness.
Okay.
And in a city of, what are we, 7-10 million people? I'm right in the middle of it, and I'm completely on my own, and I just think that's a real treat. And actually, this song, Night Swimming, one of the great songs. When I was living with my mate Gabs in Acton, Gabs is a big musico. He used to be one of the King's Singers. He's now a professor of conducting at Princeton University.
That's impressive.
Yes. So he loved REM, and I had this guilty secret that I didn't really like REM. Turns out he was right, I'm wrong. REM are brilliant, and this song is bang on.
What's the next one we're going to go for? Is it the Mock Turtles?
Yes, they don't get better than this. Songs don't get better than this. Songs don't get better. Moments in life don't get better than the recently sadly closed Borderline nightclub in Orange Yard, just off Manette Street, near the Charing Cross Road in Soho in London. We used to go there every Friday night. They had a guy called Tom Smith, DJ Tom Smith. He did his Christmas club all year round on a Friday night, and it was songs like this, and he played a remix of this song,
Yeah.
which included a few beeps. It's really, it would make a good bed because there's quite a lot of instrumental without lyrics.
Yeah.
But this is the original song, and it just takes me back to aged 18, 19, living in Acton, getting a night bus home from the borderline, but before that, getting the bus into town, a bottle of Thunderbird.
Now we're talking.
Fortified wine to get us in the mood. And then we'd end up at Friday night at the borderline asking Tom Smith for this song. And he goes, all right, lads, you want boop boop? Okay, yeah, do you mind? He goes, all right. And then we'd be up on the stage. We'd be the first people up on the stage just dancing to this. And it's just happy days.
Can I chuck a question at you? I didn't know this. I've only just found out this, and maybe it's obvious, but do you know who's singing this song? The fact that it's Steve Coogan's older brother. Did you know that?
No.
Apparently, Martin Coogan is the singer of this, and I found out that 10 minutes ago when I was looking at this. So
good knowledge, Steve Denyer.
I hope the songfacts.com's correct.
Oh, no. I know what we're going to end with.
Go on.
We're going to end... Oh, yes, because we mentioned it on the show this morning.
Yeah.
We're going to end with Nana Sherry and Buffalo Stance, because this is just such a good, cool 80s song.
Oh, go on. When this song starts, what do you think? Where does your head move to?
I'm at school, and this song comes on, and you can't fail to have a smile on your face, and that has continued every time I've heard it ever since.
Okay, Vassos, thank you so much. You're one of the loveliest men that I've ever met, and it's great to work with you. And,
well, you're not one of the loveliest men I've ever met, Steve Denyer. You are the loveliest man I've ever met.
Well, listen, thank you so much.